The students are creating a value line based on their decision whether or not the president is doing a good job. The president gets an A or an F. Those to the right are an F, those to the left are an A. We're deciding whether or not President Obama's done a good job. Ryland gives him an A, and Jax gives him an F. Can you find where you belong? Guys, it has to be shoulder to shoulder. So if you don't mind, it continues to extend. You just go down that little pocket way right there. And it has to be shoulder to shoulder. Okay? And you're all facing me as to whether or not the president is doing a good job. Still got a couple people need to find a home. So if you're going to flunk you're flunking the president. Okay? You guys are giving the president A, you guys are giving the president F. Okay? Now, I'm not really here to debate that issue. I just kind of want to find out where you stand on the issue, literally. And then what we do is we bend the value line. So, Sarah Jane, if you would mind coming this way, please. Now, this might be hard to do with all the desks in the way. And what you really want to do here, go down this way. Go right down this way. And you really think the president should be impeached and hit the highway. Is that right? Am I right? I mean, you guys are giving him an F, right? Like bad F, F minus. Stand opposite that young man right there. Stand opposite Ryland right there. Now, each person has to have, you're right opposite him. Okay, so you're going to stand opposite David. Got it? So, right. So, come on down, and bend the whole line so that each person is opposite their counterpart. And if you want to do it right here so there's a little more room. Okay, so you're going to be next. So you are opposite this person. Got it? Okay, so you're going to go, stand right opposite. And keep going till the value line is completely gone. So that we really have two C pluses pointing at each other. Right. Each person gets a parallel. You got it? Right? So you're going to go against this person here. Okay, good. You go against this person. Yeah. Keep going. That's right. You got it. And if anyone. Okay, good. All right. All right. So here's the way we're going to go. I think I'm going to go. Remember, the House has to be larger than the Senate. So let's go Jax and everybody else in the line. Okay, that means from this young man over, you guys up to Gabriel. All right, so Dan to Gabriel. You're the Senate, you're on this side. Everybody else, find a seat on this side right now. So this is the House. So Dan to Gabriel, you're over here in the Senate. Go, go, go. Come on, let's go. No, just have a seat. So this is the House, this is the Senate. The House should be larger than the Senate. Remember, from Dan to Gabriel was a small group, and they should be over here. Everybody else goes over here. Hey, House, you can take up these seats too. Okay. Now.
Yeah, I know. It's like they're so green.
Now, I hate to make you guys take more notes because nothing could be more boring than taking notes. But you're going to have to jot down a couple of things. So, just to try to remember. So, here's the question. What both the House and Senate are arguing about right now, as we speak. Here, send those down for me here. And if I give you an extra, just hang on to it. What you have to deal with is, should we, here, let me make sure everybody has this. You know what, I'm not going to count them out, just kind of send them down. Make sure everybody in the Senate gets one. All right, everybody, you guys are sharing a seat.
Thank you, Mr.
Hang on, I'll just eyeball it. Okay, send those down, your form. Okay, who needs the one? Just send it down. Okay, is everybody looking at the question? All right, I want everybody to look at the question. Okay, shh, 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 shh. And you might have to grab somebody else's writing utensil so that you can at least jot down a couple items. And really, I'm not looking to grade this. I just want you to get the feel for it, okay? The question is, should the Senate agree to fund the Department of Homeland Security or withhold funding until the President withdraws his immigration reform plan? So, Obama said 5 million of you undocumented immigrants can get, in line to become citizen. We're not going to deport you. Republicans oppose this. They are willing to withhold funding for the Homeland Security until the president changes his mind. This is what you have to decide. And so you're going to hear actual debate. Now, I only have a few minutes to give you a sample. So if you can write at least maybe 2 bullet points, I'd be thrilled if you can get at least 2 bullet points. One that says, yay, we should withhold funding. No, we should fund. See, if you are in favor of funding, then you say, hey, forget about the president. These guys need money. But if you say, no, we have to fix this immigration problem before we give any more money over to Homeland Security, you write a couple bullet points under nay. If you hear any vocab terms we've ever learned, not just in legislative, but throughout the year, I want to see that list. Because they're going to mention a bunch of them. Any vocab term. Anything having to do with government, you write it down in here. It's just a brainstorm list. Let me shut up.
Does everything have to do with government?
Well, I'm talking about like actual terminology that we've learned. All right, let me do that. Just listen for a minute, then you are going to have to vote if we have time. Okay, let's see if I can bring this up. Okay, they're going to say the Pledge of Allegiance.
Reciting the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
I'm trying to hustle it up here a little bit.
That's the previous order with respect to H.R. 203 be
Okay.
modified.
Do you know who that guy is?
The Senator-
He is the Senate Majority Leader. Now, he was the Minority Leader until the Republicans got the majority. So he became the Majority Leader.
Without objection. So for the information, I'm not.
I'm only gonna play a minute of it.
Vote on the Clay Hunt suicide prevention bill to noon tomorrow. We're all doing this because of unforeseen weather events that have created travel problems for senators on both sides of the aisle. And Mr. President, I move to proceed to H.R. 240.
This is the bill about funding Homeland Security.
Clerk will report the motion to proceed.
Motion to proceed to calendar number 5, H.R. 240, an act making appropriations for the Department of Homeland Security for the fiscal year ending September 30th, 2015, and for other purposes.
I ask unanimous consent the Senate now be in a period of morning business with senators permitted to speak.
Whether or not we will fund the nation's Homeland Security efforts and under what circumstances. All 45 members of the Democratic side, save only Senator Reid, who was not on this letter because of his hospitalization, have written a letter saying, let's just go ahead and make sure we fund DHS at the level that we've already agreed to between the houses. And then let's not play politics over immigration issues. Let's take up immigration separately. But the House bill that has been sent to us includes measures to begin to block or unwind actions taken by the President on immigration. And those complicate what all should agree is a national imperative, which is the need to fund Homeland Security.
Give me at least
if we don't
2
pass such a
bullet
bill.
points. He's on the yay
Will
side.
expire on the 28th of
Try to
February.
get something from what he said.
I don't need to explain too much why Homeland Security funding is important, but let me just make a few points. This was a department that was created after the attacks of 9/11, and its stated mission, while it employs an awful lot of people and does many complicated things, the mission is quite simple. Let's keep our country safe, secure, and resilient against terrorism and other hazards. And we see every day the kinds of terrorism and hazards that we're dealing with. The horrible shooting in Paris a few weeks ago, the shooting in Quebec a few months ago reminds us of the dangers of terrorism, and now that we're in a war against ISIL, a jihadist terrorist enemy that has promised to carry out attacks against the United States, we should be very concerned about the mission the DHS performs and the need to provide funding. The men and women who work for the DHS are quite a wide swath of our federal employees. They're the TSA personnel who protect our transportation system, Border Patrol agents who serve on our nation's front lines, customs officials who oversee the entrance and exit of nearly 1 million visitors per day who come to the United States, and we need customs agents to help process those visitors.
All right, were you able to jot down at least 2 reasons why DHS should be funded? Let's go to the guy who's against it now. And to be fair, he's not against funding DHS. He is just saying that we should roll back the president's action on immigration
and then fund DHS as a way to get him to do that. So here's Mike, I'm trying to remember his name, Kirk of Utah, if I can bring him up. Hang on a second. Here's Mike Kirk of Utah.
DHS through September of this year. This, of course, is a procedural
Mike
vote
Lee, I
that we
take
have
that.
scheduled for
Mike
tomorrow,
Lee.
not a substantive one. The only question on the table, the sole question in connection with this particular vote, will be whether or not the Senate is ready to begin voting and debating on H.R. 240. Well, Mr. President, I am ready. I'm eager, in fact, to begin this debate, and it does need to begin, and that's what this vote is about.
When he said Mr. President,
just
who was he
because-
referring to?
Vice
We have
President.
only
Yeah, actually, I think it's
25 days
President Pro Tem.
before the current
That's
budget
right.
authority for DHS expires. But also, Mr. President, because this debate will finally allow the American people to see where their elected representatives, right here in the United States Senate, stand on President Obama's recent executive action on immigration. Mr. President, the legislature is the only lawmaking branch within our federal government because it's the only deliberative branch in our government.
That means where they
Before
argue,
Congress
they deliberate.
enacts a piece of
Debate.
legislation, before it makes a new piece of law, we first debate the merits of that legislation, weighing the various pros and cons of each proposal in a candid and transparent discussion, and allowing the various sides of the issue
So
to
he's
make
giving
their
us a
case
civics lesson. Let's see if we can get into some real nitty
who
gritty.
will be affected by these decisions. This, Mr. President, is not how our republic works. And it is
He's talking about
not
President
what
Obama's
the American people expect from their elected officials in Washington, D.C. Indeed, poll after poll shows that most people disapprove of the President's executive action on immigration, that same action taken just this last November. Even those who agree with the President on policy grounds, even those who think that the President's amnesty action would be the kind of policy that they would prefer, even those people disagree with the President on process, because the American people understand that the process does matter. Especially
Let me see if we can give it.
claim that his executive order would honor the golden rule of American exceptionalism, that if you work hard and play by the rules, you can get ahead. But we now know that his plan subverts that very basic fundamental bargain. By
Okay, so Lee here, Senator Lee, is mostly arguing against the president's action on immigration. He's not really arguing we shouldn't fund DHS. He's saying we shouldn't fund it because we have a problem with the president and we got to fix that before we put the money toward it. Now, we've got the Senate over here, the House over here. Let's give, and I know we only have a couple minutes left. Let's give anyone on the floor of the House an opportunity to argue in favor or against Bill 240, Senate Bill 240, which would fund DHS. Is there anyone on the floor of the House who would like to have an opportunity to speak? Okay, Representative Shelby.
Okay, so about the Homeland Security thing, the Homeland Security is really, really important to our country and everything, and it should be totally separate from immigration. Immigration has nothing to do with it, and we should be addressing the current problem, which is about the Homeland Security, and the Senate should be funding that separate from whatever immigration problems it has.
Okay, so to summarize what you're saying, national security is more important than anything the president has done. Okay, Representative Donovan, please rise. Do you want to debate the point just made?
I second her motion.
Okay, very good. He seconds the motion and supports anybody in the House who's going to argue that. Okay, let's go debate in the Senate where you could get a filibuster, where you would have to vote for cloture. Is there a senator who supports Senator Lee or supports Senator Kane from your state? Is there a senator here? Nobody wants to stand up. Okay, I was going to say, some people gave the president an F. You're not going to support this idea of blocking this money for the government until the president follows the Constitution? Go.
Wait, so I'm gonna wait.
Yes, what are you going to say? You want to block money, don't you?
Yeah.
until the president steps back, right?
Yeah, national security is immigration too.
National security is immigration too, she said.
Because if you let in, it could be a terrorist that comes in and you could grant amnesty to them.
An excellent point. So, yes, go ahead, Bibi.
Can I just say I agree?
Okay, you second that
I
motion.
second that.
Awesome. Okay. Now, because the bell's going to ring, let's have a joint session. Okay, and I'm thrilled if you're able to write something. Joint session of Congress. All right. We're going to take a voice vote first. All in favor of funding Homeland Security in spite of the president's actions, say aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Nay. Somebody call for the yeas and nays. Okay. Say, I call for the yeas and nays.
I call for the yeas.
Awesome. Well, now we have to do at least by hand. I mean, I don't have the time for an actual roll call vote, so we'll have to do by hand. All in favor of funding Homeland Security, raise your hand. I think you're in the minority, hands down. We block funding until the president steps back. All right. Thank you.
Until Obama would possibly stop illegal immigrants, because doing so, someone who we do not want in the U.S. might come in and live here legally and then blow stuff up.
Okay. Anybody want to counter-argue or support that viewpoint? Okay, so what the representative was saying was that he agrees with, this is Senator Mike Lee of Utah, that the president should withdraw his action and then the funding for Department of Homeland Security can go forward. Was there a senator who wanted to have the floor? Senator Tim.
I support Senator Will and that
He's a representative.
Representative Will
Uh-huh.
that it's not okay for him to be letting all these people into the U.S. because as he lets them in here legally, it creates more threats to Homeland Security.
Okay, so you're saying that Homeland Security is threatened by President Obama's action? Okay, anybody else want to argue that? Okay, this would be Representative Charlotte. Go ahead.
We're holding back illegal immigrants and we're sending them back. We might also be sending back people some people may be running away from something or trying to start anew. Not everybody's a terrorist. Assuming that everybody is, all you're going to do is make more enemies in your own world.
Okay, so deporting millions of people might not be the right way to go, especially if you're trying to deport parents of people who were born in the United States. The parents may be undocumented, as we say, but the children are citizens. So you're going to split families up. Okay, Representative Collin, you're up.
Well, to go on her thing.
Okay.
Even if somebody was escaping something, they're still here illegally. So like, that doesn't really, you can't really just keep them here because they're escaping something else unless they're illegal citizens.
Okay. Now, does the president have the power to do this?
Yes.
Okay. Senator Lucas, stand rise. And where do you see in the Constitution the president having the power to give 5 million undocumented aliens the power to stay? Go ahead, you're being recognized.
Article 2.
Article 2.
Article 2, thank you.
Yeah, he has the power to give pardons, does he not?
He does have
Okay, and so this is a form of a pardon. When you pardon a group, what's that called?
Amnesty.
That's called amnesty. So in a sense, we can see that the president, but the real question is, should the president go around Congress? How do you feel about that, Congress?
Why not? It's dumb.
It's dumb. Well, I don't know about dumb, but the question is, we have 3 branches of government. And if we're going to do something on a legislative level, okay, you can be seated. If we're going to do something like, does the president have the right to make a law?
No.
No, the president cannot make law. What branch is he in? Right, and what do they do? They carry out the law, right? But on the other hand, have these guys, have they dealt with the problem? Has Congress dealt with the problem?
No.
So maybe we have to look at why the president acted. It's because right now we have a Congress that really isn't doing it.
That's not a good excuse.
Okay. You don't think that's a good excuse?
No.
Okay, stand. Be recognized. Go, Meredith. Oh, that's fun. You get to vote. All right, watch the vote next time. Study for your test.
I never studied for anything.
The Republicans or the Democrats? Democrats. Keep them here and. Do we have? Yeah, study for the test. Study for the test. Do the study guide. Absolutely.